Shahid, 2 points. The politics today, it's going to take from your religion.
Not necessarily.
Anyone who, look, let me explain something to you. Jamaluddin, this concept of the activism now that we're seeing today, that's running like that.
Yeah.
The first person it goes back to is not the early scholars of Islam and all that. It goes back to a man by the name of Jamaluddin al-Afghani, mubtadi', and deviated individual. Jamaluddin al-Afghani, this concept he came with, and he propagated it, that the Muslims have to be part of politics. وَمَا إِلَى ذَلِكَ. After him, adopted it his student Muhammad Abdul. Muhammad Abdul said, you know what, you're right, my sheikh is right, took it from him. And he adopted it and pushed it and spoke for it and argued for it until when he realized that politics is not going to work for him. He spent years of his life. He said, one of the things that being transmitted from him, he said, Majallatul Manar, Muhammad Rashid Rida mentions it. He says, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min lafdh as-siyasa wa min makanin yulfadhu fihi as-siyasa. Oh, Allah, I seek refuge in the word siyasa, the place where siyasa is mentioned. Wa min sasa wa yasusu wa sa'isi. I hate the word, the root word where it's derived from. Niqma shadida. He became very, 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 very upset with politics. He realized it's going to harm you. It's not going to give you. After him took Muhammad Rashid Rida. Muhammad Abdul and Jamal ad-Din al-Afghani are misguided people. Lakin Muhammad Rashid Rida was a man that somehow had a different approach. He believed in this political thing. He believed in it. He had a belief of calling to Tawheed as well. MashaAllah, strengthening the people's Tawheed, calling to the Sunnah. He was doing it, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But even him, because of politics, he took on board principles, because politics works on that, which is قاعدة نتعاون فيما اتفقنا عليه ويعذر بعضنا بعضا فيما اختلفنا فيه. We work with each other on what we agree upon, and we will excuse each other on what we differ upon.
Yeah.
A principle which then brings the LGBT, the homosexuals, all of us put our differences aside, has no limits, because when ويعذر بعضنا بعضا, we will excuse one another in what we differ upon, has no limitations. And there's no point, it stops. The qaida is like that. So the disbeliever, the atheist, agnostic, as long as you have the same goal, we work together on that. This is what politics is. This qaida shaytaniyah, as Ibn Uthaymin called it, that's where it's taken from. That's where it came from people who had to do this because of politics and activism. So you find a person having to do shirky rituals, not because he believes in it. It's not him. It's not his personal qana'a nafsiyya, that he's personal content with. It's not him. Maydanu siyasa, this is what politics does to you. It destroys the division between tawheed and shirk, sunnah and bid'ah. That's why you see people who work with innovators and everything. It's adopted from that. Look at in the UK, we have Conservative Party on one side, we have the Labour Party. With their differences, they still work together on issues and some laws.
But so did the Prophet ﷺ, and he even advocated it.
But never did he say, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, let's put our differences aside. He refuted their differences.
And we don't have to necessarily put our differences aside, but it doesn't mean, I'm not talking about, by the way, someone trying to become an MP in the UK and trying to go through the political party route. But there is an argument for Muslims to get a bit more actively engaged, because if you sit back and do nothing, which is what your proposal is, that's not fair, because you're not just proposing to do nothing, you're proposing to teach books in the masajid to correct the people from the ground up.
Shahid, what I'm saying is that Muslims getting power and reaching that level that we all want. By the way, we're all saying that inshallah ta'ala, we want Muslims to be the strongest, the up. But we're saying it doesn't come about by starting from the top and going down. No, it doesn't work like that. It works the opposite way. The community, build your community, have a strong community. The scholars, they say, al-khilafa thamara min thamarat al-tawheed. The concept of khilafah, it comes from tawheed. Remember what I said to you before. Nabi Muhammad, when he refused Utbatun al-Rabi'ah's offer and Quraysh and what they had to bring to the table. Shahid, Nabi Muhammad, after that, what did he do? And what was his approach that he took? And how did he go about it? So he turned this down and he left them. He could still ask other people to give it to him. If there's like, and some Muslims say today, for example, they say that the reason the Prophet refused that was because there was a condition that he didn't want. No. After that, look what happened. Nabi Muhammad, every year he would go to the Hajj and he would go to the Mawasim, the place where the people come. He would go to Majannah and Uqad. There's markets, the big markets where everybody's gathering. This is Hajj. Hajj is the most, you know how Hajj is now. It was like that for them as well. People would come from everywhere. The Prophet would go to Majannah. He would go to Uqad. He would go to Mina. And just look what he say. He would say, Man yu'wini. Who's going to give me shelter? Man yansuruni. Who's going to give me victory in my message? Hatta uballigha risalati rabbi. So I can convey the message of my Lord. Walahul Jannah. And he's going to receive Jannah. Shahid, ponder here and contemplate. He didn't say who's going to give me victory so I can be the leader or I can get in power. He didn't. He said, Hatta uballigha risalati rabbi.
Yeah, but Ustad, I'm not saying people have to get in power. I don't know why it has to be this or that. They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, one takes away from the other.
No,
Shahid.
It doesn't. You can teach the people from the ground
Shahid,
up the way you want to do.
It does.
The way you want to do, teach the people. But at the same time, why can't we not get into power? I'm not saying that I want a Muslim prime minister to get into power or anything like that. I'm not taking it that far. I'm saying, why can't we just lobby the governments? Just show them that we are a minority that has a big voice in the UK. And when we come together...
Yeah, but your people are not even... Shahid, that's what I'm saying. When you strengthen your community, you would tend to get a voice, an agreement amongst the community. You have a community that's united, that's come together on fundamental issues. That's when you're in the masjid and you're teaching, you bring the people together. Then we will work towards something. Our community have lost their religion. Our community are divided amongst themselves. Yani Shahid, let me say something to you. We've seen all of this and we've lived through all of it. When Mursi, for example, came into power, this is a mithal, good example.
Okay.
Mursi came into power. Okay, he's now seen as a figurehead who's now governing in the country. He came through the system in the most pleasing way to the West. He got elected through voting. And that's the first time ever Egypt has ever had it. Ever. He came into power. He's now in power. The man is in power. Shahid. Because the community and the society were not ready, yani they were not nurtured correctly. They were the same people who went against him. The people were used against him. Shahid, there were prophets of Islam, Nabi, Anbiya, who lived under rulers when they never went into power. Prophets were living under these people. Even the closest person they use is Yusuf alayhi salam. Nabiullah Yusuf, he didn't lobby towards power. It was offered to him and he accepted it.